I once wrote that all war is deception. But as I gaze into the night sky, I realize the greatest deception is not of men, but of the cosmos itself. A new wanderer has crossed the void, the interstellar comet 3I Atlas, a messenger of silence and chaos. It travels alone, untouched by allegiance, carrying within its icy heart the memory of ancient suns. In its journey, I see the reflection of every warrior who has ever faced the unknown. The universe is not a battlefield of armies, but of forces unseen, patience, entropy, and will. Those who learn to move like the comet, guided by silence rather than noise, survive every storm the heavens can summon. What if the Comet 3I Atlas is not a threat, but a teacher? In its silent passing, it reveals the ancient law of survival. Only those who move without fear can endure the invisible war of the cosmos. When I look upon the Comet 3I Atlas cutting across the dark sea of the cosmos, I see not destruction, but discipline. Its path is precise, unhurried, and free, and it does not fight against gravity. It bends with it, using the pull of invisible forces to shape its destiny. This, too, is the essence of strategy, to move in harmony with what others resist. In my teachings, I spoke of water, shapeless, adaptable, soft yet unstoppable. The comet is water in its highest form, frozen motion, patience given shape. While men rush to conquer, it drifts through eternity untouched by urgency. In that stillness lies its power. Human beings fear what moves in silence. They worship noise, conquest, and speed, mistaking motion for meaning. But the universe does not shout. Its victories are measured in orbits, not in moments. The wise warrior observes and waits, like a comet crossing the ages, carrying lessons that only time can unfold. 3I Atlas teaches us that true survival is not resistance, but alignment. It does not defy the void, it listens to it. Its light burns because it does not waste itself in conflict. When you face your own storms, doubt, fear, chaos, remember the path of the comet. Do not fight every force that pulls you. Learn to use them. The cosmos moves in silence, yet nothing escapes its influence. Those who find stillness within movement discover the highest art of war, to act without struggle, to survive without violence, and to conquer without leaving scars. To understand the invisible war of the cosmos, I whisper to the young warrior beside me, you must learn to see not with your eyes, but with your awareness. He listens in silence, while above us the trail of 3I Atlas fades into the infinite dark. If this wisdom touched your thoughts, leave your mark. Like, subscribe, and share this reflection, for even the faintest light can guide another through the darkness. The young warrior stared at the trail left by 3I Atlas, his eyes reflecting both awe and fear. Master, he asked, if the universe moves without mercy, how can a man survive its indifference? I closed my eyes and listened. The silence of the cosmos is not empty, it is full of messages. Every silence hides a rhythm, every stillness conceals a pattern. The comet does not fear the void because it understands it. It accepts the pull of the unseen and turns it into movement. Survival, I told him, is not about resisting the void, but echoing it. The warrior frowned, unable to understand. So I picked up a handful of sand and let it slip through my fingers. Each grain falls where it must, I said. None resist gravity, yet none are defeated by it. They obey the natural flow, and in doing so, they endure. 3 Atlas drifts the same way, not with rebellion, but with awareness. It moves not to conquer space, but to become one with it. The human heart, however, wages a constant war against what it cannot control. Fear makes us thrash against destiny, wasting energy in battles that cannot be won. In the invisible war of existence, every force has its echo. Your anger summons conflict, your stillness summons clarity. The cosmos listens to your vibration more than your voice. The comet knows this law. It does not speak, yet it commands the gaze of worlds. As we watched the sky, the shadow appeared behind the warrior, a blur of dark mist, silent, watching. That, I said softly, is the reflection of every doubt you carry. The shadow feeds on resistance. The more you fight it, the stronger it becomes. But when you let it drift, it dissolves like smoke. The young warrior turned his gaze back to the heavens. "Then," he whispered, "the void is not my enemy." "No," I replied, "the void is your teacher." And as Three-Eye Atlas continued its journey beyond sight, the flame of consciousness shimmered faintly between us, reminding us that light is born not from fire, but from understanding. If you feel the echo of this message, let it resonate beyond you. Like, subscribe, and share this reflection, for every act of awareness lights another soul in the darkness. As the comet disappeared beyond the horizon of sight, the young warrior's mind began to stir with unease. "Master," he said, "if light guides us, why must shadow follow?" I smiled faintly. Because without shadow, light would never reveal its purpose. In every battle, seen or unseen, there are two generals, illumination and obscurity. The comet Three-Eye Atlas travels between both, burning only because darkness surrounds it. Without the silence of space, its brilliance would be invisible. In this lies the paradox of survival. To endure, you must embrace both your flame and your void. The shadow stepped closer, its form wavering like smoke. The young warrior's hand reached for his sword. "Do not fight," I whispered. "It is not your enemy. It is your reflection." He hesitated, the weapon trembling. The shadow mirrored his movement perfectly, as if it were bound to his heartbeat. Fear thickened the air. "The more you resist it," I said, "the more it consumes you. But when you face it without fear, it dissolves, revealing the lesson it carries." The warrior slowly lowered his sword. The shadow paused, then faded into mist. Only the sound of his breathing remained. Above us, the stars pulsed softly, as if approving the surrender of pride. "Light without humility becomes arrogance," I told him. "And shadow without understanding becomes despair. The comet carries both, balanced in silence. That is why it survives." He looked upward again. "So every light I chase is also a shadow I must face?" "Yes," I said. "The wise warrior does not choose between them. He learns to walk the line where both exist, the path of awareness. There, the war between darkness and light ends, and the true strategy of the cosmos begins." The flame of consciousness appeared once more, its golden glow dancing gently around us. Its voice, soft and wordless, filled the night with calm. The young warrior closed his eyes, and for the first time, the silence did not frighten him. If this reflection helped you see your own light and shadow, let it reach others. Like, subscribe, and share this message, for every shared truth becomes another star in someone's night. The night grew colder as the stars thickened above us. The young warrior sat quietly, his sword resting on the ground beside him. "Master," he said after a long silence, "you speak of harmony with the universe, but how does one move in such vastness without losing direction?" I looked toward the horizon, where the trail of Three-Eye Atlas had faded. "The comet never doubts its course," I said. "It moves not by choice, but by awareness. Its path is not chaos, it is alignment. Many believe that survival is achieved through strength, yet I have seen empires fall because they moved without understanding the flow around them. The strongest tree breaks in the wind, but the reed bends and survives. The comet bends as well, not in weakness but in wisdom. Strategy," I told him, "is the art of moving with the invisible. Every motion of the comet obeys a law it cannot see, yet it trusts it completely. Humans, in their arrogance, demand certainty before action. But the universe rewards those who move with trust, not control." The warrior frowned. "Then how can I know if I am aligned?" "You will know," I said, "when your actions no longer come from fear, but from clarity." The shadow reappeared at the edge of the clearing, its form trembling as if disturbed by an unseen wind. I felt no threat, only reflection. The comet's wisdom was stirring even the darkness. The young warrior stood, facing it not with anger, but with calm. The shadow wavered and vanished. Above us, the flame of consciousness descended, its glow wrapping the warrior in soft gold. "When your movements flow from peace," I whispered, "the cosmos moves with you. This is the law of the comet, motion born of surrender." He breathed deeply, the cold air filling his chest. So the greatest strategy is not control, he said, but surrender? I nodded. Yes, to surrender is not to give up, but to give in, to the rhythm that already leads you toward victory. If this truth moved something within you, let it guide others too. Like, subscribe and share, for wisdom, when shared, becomes the gravity that pulls more souls toward light. As dawn approached, the stars began to fade, but their silence remained heavy upon us. The young warrior turned to me, his eyes filled with questions that words could not carry. "Master," he whispered, "if the comet follows its path without struggle, then why do we humans suffer in our search for peace?" I breathed deeply, feeling the cold air merge with my thoughts. "Because men are constellations divided within themselves," I said. "Each desire pulls in a different direction, and thus their souls scatter like stars torn from the same sky. War does not always roar. Sometimes it whispers inside the heart, a war between what we want and what we are. The comet, unlike man, is whole. It moves with purpose because it does not question its existence. It does not seek light. It is light in motion. Your suffering," I told the young warrior, "is the sound of resistance. When you stop fighting yourself, the noise fades, and what remains is guidance." He lowered his gaze, his reflection trembling in the pool of water before him. Then, from the shadows of the forest, a faint red glow appeared. The shadow, returning once more. But this time its form was smaller, its presence less threatening. It hovered silently, watching. The young warrior did not draw his sword. Instead, he closed his eyes and breathed slowly. In that moment, something shifted. The shadow's light began to fade, not in defeat, but in transformation. The darkness that once terrified him now melted into his own reflection. "You see," I said softly, "your darkness is not an enemy to destroy, but a space to understand. The more you understand it, the less it commands you." The flame of consciousness rose higher, glowing like a second dawn. The young warrior opened his eyes, and for the first time I saw no fear, only awareness. The invisible war within him had quieted. Above us, the memory of Three-Eye Atlas still glimmered faintly across the night. Its journey reminded me that peace is not the absence of conflict, but the mastery of its rhythm. If these words echoed in your soul, let them travel further. Like subscribe and share. For wisdom grows brighter when passed from one heart to another. The air was still, and dawn painted the mountains in shades of amber and gold. The young warrior watched the horizon where darkness retreated and light advanced. "Master," he said softly, "if the war within me is over, what remains?" "Silence," I replied, and in that silence, purpose. Three-Eye. Atlas had long vanished from sight, but its lesson still lingered in the rhythm of the morning breeze. Victory is not measured in conquest, but in clarity. The comet does not celebrate its survival, it simply continues. In that simplicity lies its greatness, the art of existing without needing to prove existence. Humans, however, seek noise after triumph. They shout, build monuments, crave recognition, yet the universe does not remember names, only harmony. The comet leaves no statue behind, yet its passing alters the balance of worlds. This is true mastery, to move through life unseen, yet unforgettable. The young warrior closed his eyes, feeling the stillness that once frightened him now become a refuge. "Then peace," he murmured, "is not the end of war. It is what remains when war no longer defines us." I nodded. When you reach that understanding, you no longer fight to win. You act to exist in balance. The silent warrior wins every battle because his enemies are illusions he no longer feeds. The shadow appeared one last time, faint and translucent, no longer a figure of menace but of memory. It bowed before the young warrior and dissolved into the wind. He bowed back, understanding that every shadow is only light learning to return home. The flame of consciousness expanded, surrounding us both in a golden glow. The young warrior turned to me, his eyes serene. "Master," he said, "the comet's journey never ends, does it?" I smiled. "No, nor does yours. You are the traveler now, the movement through eternity, the silent flame among the stars." And as the morning sun rose, the sky became a mirror, reflecting both silence and awakening, the same eternal dance that has guided comets, warriors, and souls since time began. If this wisdom brought peace to your thoughts, let it travel beyond you. Like, subscribe, and share, for every act of reflection becomes a spark in the vast silence of the universe. Days passed in silence. The young warrior no longer sought answers. He began to listen instead. The sound of the wind through the trees, the rhythm of his heartbeat, even the distant hum of the earth beneath him, all spoke the same language: awareness. One morning he approached me with a calm I had not seen before. "Master," he said, "I no longer feel the need to fight my shadow. But what then should I do with my light?" I looked toward the sky where Three-Eye Atlas had once carved its path through eternity. "Use it to see, not to blind," I said. "Light that seeks to dominate becomes fire. Light that seeks to understand becomes wisdom." He sat beside me as the flame of consciousness flickered between us, glowing softly like a heartbeat of the universe itself. "The comet moves endlessly," I continued, "not because it must, but because movement is its nature. When you live in awareness, every step becomes purpose, and every pause becomes peace." The warrior nodded slowly. "Then awareness itself is the journey." "Yes," I said, "and like Three-Eye Atlas, you must learn to travel without destination. You are not here to arrive. You are here to move with meaning." The wise warrior understands that time is not an enemy. It is the current that carries him forward. The shadow did not appear again, for it had already merged with the light of understanding. What once haunted him had become his teacher. He smiled faintly, his eyes reflecting both dawn and memory. As the flame of consciousness expanded, its radiance illuminated the path ahead, a trail not made of stone or soil, but of awareness itself. "Go," I told him. "Not to conquer, but to observe. Not to win, but to understand. Wherever you walk, the cosmos will walk with you." He bowed deeply, then turned toward the horizon. His figure disappeared into the morning mist, calm and sure. I closed my eyes, feeling the silence of his departure. A silence not of loss, but of completion. And above us, the stars shimmered faintly, as if remembering the comet's passing, and the awakening of a soul that had learned to move like it. If this journey awakened something within you, carry it forward. Like, subscribe, and share. For every awakened soul becomes another comet crossing the vast sky of awareness. I remain where the young warrior once stood, watching the horizon that swallowed him. The world feels unchanged, yet everything has shifted. That is the nature of true victory. It leaves no noise, no ruins, only transformation. The comet, Three-Eye Atlas, now drifts beyond the reach of our eyes, crossing the dark between stars. But its silence still vibrates through the fabric of existence. It was never merely a traveler of the void. It was a mirror showing us what we forget. That survival is not dominance, but adaptation, not resistance, but understanding. For years, I taught men how to win wars, but in the twilight of my awareness, I see that the greatest war was never between armies, but between awareness and ignorance. The cosmos itself is the eternal battlefield, where chaos and order meet, creating balance. The shadow taught us fear. The flame of consciousness taught us peace, yet both are born from the same light. The comet's passage reminded me that even darkness serves the design of the stars. The void is not against us, and it completes us. Now I walk alone beneath the same sky, and I understand that the art of war is the art of listening. To move in silence is to move in truth. The universe is a teacher that speaks without sound, and only those who have silenced their inner storms can hear it. The young warrior's path continues somewhere beyond sight. Perhaps he now teaches others what he has learned, that peace is not an escape from battle, but the awareness that there was never a battle to begin with. And as I look upward once more, I whisper to the infinite, the war is not over. It is simply unseen. For even now, in every breath, in every heartbeat, the invisible war of the cosmos continues, not to destroy us, but to awaken us. If this story illuminated your own invisible war, share its light. Like, subscribe, and let these words reach others. For wisdom, once awakened, becomes the comet that never stops moving.